Well, we've done it. We've reached the end of Doctor Who week, and I promised you guys something big early on, and I'm a man of my word. So, Love and Monsters. Okay. I have voiced my opinion of a couple places here and there that I think Love and Monsters is probably one of the worst episodes of Doctor Who I've seen. And the thing that just scratches my head is, okay, how could someone write an episode that makes me, just detest it so much? But while this happens, there are people who love it. That's the thing that amazes me a little. And here's the thing. I'm not angry at those people. I'm a big supporter of, it's your opinion, if you love it, live on. I like Green Lantern. No one's going to let me live that down, so I have no right to stare down people who like one bad episode of a pretty damn good series. I'm going to say that up front. Yes, this episode enrages me. And if anyone watches this and ends up liking it, you know what? Fine. You can be happy with it. I'm going to still dislike it, but the thing is, I don't know, here's the thing. I'm the kind of guy who loves watching stuff that's so bad, it gives me this strange feeling of entertainment. Love and Monsters crosses over into that, now the more I think about it. Because of how lazy and how goofy I think the entire thing is. Okay, let's look at one thing that is unfortunately a weakness, but doesn't have to be a weakness. The fact that it's Doctor Light and Companion Light. Two factors play in. I covered Blink last time I did a Doctor Who week, which is great. Thing is, it managed to write a great story that had involvement from the Doctor, but the actor didn't need to be there. You still thought you were watching the show. Because that's the thing Love and Monsters suffers with. It's written so weird that when you realize the Doctor's not around, you wouldn't know this is the show. And he doesn't even play a big part in it. He's literally added... Here's the thing. Blink felt like it was written with the show in mind, but telling a good story, a fascinating story, not skimping on either the main character, even if he does get little screen time, or the character we're focused on, which was Sally Sparrow. That's the thing here. That one was written to not undermine the fact that he has a little screen time. Still give him a presence. Make him somewhat of a key part in the whole story. That, and let's face it, his video kind of appearance in the episode is one of the most memorable things. So, yeah, that episode delivered on something. Love and Monsters does not have that in any stretch. Love and Monsters just gets to me because there's a good idea in here. The idea of a group of normal people suspecting that that the Doctor's around and trying to figure out who he is and uncover this big mystery. That's a cool idea. I think Russell T Davies excels at that just as well as other writers. He's good at figuring out good ideas, and he's really good at figuring out how to do it when he's on focus. Other times, however, he comes off like a child coming up with things that he thinks are funny, but in all honesty, sometimes that just doesn't translate. When I mentioned Boomtown, I mentioned that a lot of the humor in that failed for me for the most part because it wasn't played straight. That's the thing. A lot of this stuff isn't played straight. It's placed to be a goofy laugh. And that's the thing about this. This guy's a showrunner, and we all know, he can do great things. Rose is good. Boomtown had stronger parts to it, though it had weak ones. I think Parting of the Ways and Bad Wolf is still the best finale he did. Only because there's problems with the other two he's done, and the time had its flaws, but he knows how to make good moments. There's a good writer in him. Problem is, he's his own worst enemy for the most of the time. I'm just saying that because, again, I know people love to hate him. I think he can be a good writer. Has he written crap? Well, he wrote this, so yes, I think he's not perfect. But hell, Stephen Moffat's had some problems lately. There's a couple big flaws with the finale of Series 6, I'm just saying. Hell, they even explored in the very first episode with that crazy guy who told Rose what he thought about the Doctor, which was more of a throwaway thing to add mystery to the character that we eventually were told straight up by the character, so that's the thing. The idea of these guys trying to literally find out more about the Doctor, that's a cool idea. The problem I have is that none of the characters are interesting and slowly devolve into a folk band more than a team trying to find the goddamn Doctor. I swear, like halfway through this, decide, let's get our instruments and play music, yay! Now, I know people like this, only because our main character, Elton, obviously comes off a bit of a sheltered character. And I think you just wrote him a little too weird or distant for me to care about him. He comes off like an incompetent moron more than a misunderstood nice guy to me. Again, my opinion, but I just don't think he comes off that good at all. It's just weird. That's the thing. I could kind of see the seeds of people thinking, oh, he's just kind of a misunderstood outcast. We can like him like that. Where he just comes off like a weirdo, which may be mean of me, but he's not written with any deep insights other than, I don't talk to people and I love to dance. Okay, that's fascinating. Go away. And then, the further and further we go on, we see him get a relationship with a woman who's even more awkward, and I, again, don't care about her, and what happens to her at the end of the story is, well, really fucking stupid. Okay. That's the thing about this. This story is extremely one-note. We start off with a guy running away, which from the looks of it looks more like he's running away from the score more than anything else. You find out that he meets the Doctor, meets a monster who could have been used in a much better story. And from all of this until you find out that this is just a story he's telling is a really funny Scooby Doo gag. Seriously, that's the only thing that gave me any real joy. And after that, you're just wondering, okay, so you've kind of dethroned any chances of you dying, which they put in a big one once the bad guy comes in. See, this businessman who went through the school of cheesiest acting on the planet takes it over, tries to be, puts quote-unquote money to try and find the Doctor for his own gain. Not one time did I look at this guy and say, yeah, you're subtle. He's twirling 5 mustaches and comes off like an obvious bad guy that none of these morons see it. That's why I don't feel bad. I'm sorry. I know. Suspension of disbelief. That's one thing I like to look for in science fiction. I think that's something that could work. Here's my problem. It just annoys the crap out of me that this guy is giggling like a cartoon and no one suspects a problem. And let's get down to what he is. We find out he's called an Azorbeloff, which sounds like a goofy name a child would make up, right? Well, that's because a child did. You'll see the picture here, but see, there's a show called Blue Peter, and they had a contest to tie in with Doctor Who. Design your own monster. Kids came in and would draw their own monster. Self-explanatory, right? Well, they went with one that was done by a 7-year-old. I don't hate the fact that that happened. Here's why. Because they're doing something nice for the kids. I'm not that soulless of a monster. But I just want to point out one thing. The kid said that he was upset because he imagined the monster to be the size of a bus. See, even the goddamn kid was disappointed. Again, I'm twisting words, but still. They couldn't even get a kid's imagination right? Budget. Oh well. Now, here's the thing about this. I say how it bores me, but that's again. Most of this episode is a lot of boring stuff that has no feeling of that you're watching Doctor Who, and then punctuated by some bad parts, and it ends with a giant nuclear bomb of rage. Okay, so basically the monster explodes by the power of will from all the people he absorbed, and his goop seeks into the earth and starts growing plants. Stupid enough, but hey, I'm close to the ending. I'm good. And then the Doctor comes in. This is the only thing he does, by the way. Besides, again, run away like he's Fred from Scooby and the gang. And teleport to the place where Elton is so Rose could smack him for pissing off her mom. Stupid, and I didn't want to get into that because it was just a goofy way of getting the actress who plays Jackie Tyler in, and I'll just say this. A lot of kids really got a lesson in what cougars are that day. Okay, so he's only close to doing anything remotely, I'm not going to say helpful because it's not. He somehow saves both her consciousness and her face, and she's stuck like a chunk of cement. Okay, first off, how is that a good idea? Seriously. Tell me, would you want to live like this? Even better, what happens if you piss off your loved one? I'm convinced that this guy's going to sand her down like a frisbee and throw her across the park. No! You've doomed this woman to a really weird life now. And here's the piece de resistance of this moment. And I'm sorry, I know when this episode's criticized, this is a part that's brought up a lot, but you can't excuse it. They mention that they've found a sort of love life. Okay, I don't view the show as a kid show. I view it more as a family-esque show. Something with, parental guidance may be needed. But not like toward towards the adult show, I feel. Or at least the one for, older teenagers, adults. Doctor Who, I feel, should be somewhat family-oriented, or at least PG. Maybe even on the grounds of PG-13 if we're really going to grasp it here. This was... Okay, so... Really? You're going to end on the high note of an oral sex joke? Now that you really think about it, not only is this woman to live the life of concrete for the rest of her life, she could basically be turned into a human blowjob dispenser. How disturbing is this? That's the thing that just burns my head up. Really? That's the thing that puts us over the top. Not to mention my friend's question of, does that mean the inside of her mouth is infinite, or does it go as deep as the concrete? I'm sorry I just disturbed you on that one too, but you now have to suffer my scars. That's the thing. Just the whole end is the real cherry of awful. The rest of it's boring. That's the thing. Again, it has some moments. Here's the thing. I like watching this from time to time just because I love to make fun of it. That's how cynical I am. Yes, that might be a stupid reason, but I hate it as an episode. As a way of killing time with friends, riff tracks the hell out of it. That's the fun. Thank you for joining me on this second Doctor Who week. And I'll do this one in a while. I'm probably going to do this every break I have from college. But thanks if you were joining me. And go to hell, loving monsters.